What's up, team? Let's talk about a test taking strategy that I applied for USMLE Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 that I think is ideal. The best way to start off with questions, especially if you're new, especially if you're a rookie, but it works in the beginning of your study and even at the end when you're in flow state, when you're well established, when you have a routine. It's the pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme starts with doing easy questions of all topics and getting through all of the easy questions first. Why? Because it's progressive overload. You don't start at the gym with 225. You don't start squatting with 500, okay? You start with working on your form. You start with low weight, high reps. You start with building that foundation of knowledge, that muscle memory. And if you're starting your step 1 study or your step 2 study, if you're starting your step 2, you have some foundation from step 1, assuming you did well. But if you're starting step 1, you're depending on your med school curriculum, you basically have no idea what's on the USMLE. So I started with USMLE RX after I finished past tests just to get my feet wet. But once I learned, the best way to study it, I just did all the easy questions on USMLE RX, all of the easy questions on AMBOSS, and then all of the medium questions on USMLE RX, all of the 2-hammer questions on AMBOSS, and then all the 3-hammer questions on AMBOSS. And I think this is helpful because, one, it gives you a satellite view of everything that's on the test, gives you a map so you know like where you're going, where you're headed, where the roadblocks are for you, what your weaknesses are, what topics you've never heard about before. And it lays the foundation of your just USMLE studying and helps you even when you go to class and there's a topic that you might think, oh, this isn't important, but if you had actually done that wide, broad range of easy and medium questions on USMLE question banks, you're going to now know what topics come up in class that are important for you to study and pay attention to, and what topics you can dismiss, what topics you need to have in-depth knowledge about, and what topics you just need to have a superficial knowledge about. So, that's my take. That's something that's very helpful to me, especially on near the end of my step 1 and then my step 2 studying.